For 14 years now, never had a problem with it. If that doesn't convince you enough, then I don't know what does.
Skip, hand size,
Yep.
big deal, no big deal.
Stephen A. Smith, it's always been a big deal. I'm very surprised and disappointed for Jared Goff's sake that he didn't know about this, that he didn't get any advice or prep about this, because a number of quarterbacks in recent years have gone to massage therapists or done stretching exercises to try to broaden the expanse of their hand. Jameis Winston did it last year and said after the draft he thought he added maybe an inch or so to his hand size. Hugh Jackson said a couple of weeks ago, new coach obviously in Cleveland, that hand size is crucial to him in his equation, especially for a cold weather city quarterback. Small hands, no ball security or lack of ball security. So I'm going to guess that Cleveland will not take Jared Goff. One reason I like Johnny Manziel going back, what were we, 2-3 years ago, was he had freakishly big hands and big feet for his height. Johnny's hand size was almost 10 inches. So to me, I'm disappointed in Jared Goff, and I liked him early in the year, then had a couple of really bad games, especially the one at Utah, 5 interceptions, and I'm a little shaky on him. It disappoints me that he was not aware that he would have small-ish, not tiny hands, but smallish hands going into this draft, and it will hurt him a little bit, but maybe a crucial little bit.
Well, size matters. Let's just get that out the way. It just does, and it always will. I'll leave it at that. Let me also say this. When I look at it, and I'll tell you this, Drew Brees, 10.25 inches. Russell Wilson, 10.25 inches. Brett Favre, 10.38 inches. Supposedly, that was the size that their hands measured, okay? Usually, I'm one of those guys that I pay attention to height. Height, the ability to see over the line of scrimmage. But according to some articles that I've read, Skip, you could have height, but freakishly smaller hands that doesn't commiserate with that height, and you're not successful in the NFL. Whereas you could be short, but you have exceptionally large hands, and you can thrive in the NFL. So that's a correlation to be made there. You know, even though height is important to me, hand size is even more important. Now, what they're saying is that usually folks who are taller usually have larger hands. So I guess you can look at height and you could assume or surmise that that's not going to be an issue. It's interesting that you told me about Jameis Winston and the massage in the hands or whatever, because I never knew that you could actually make your hands bigger. That I never knew. That's new to me. I'm surprised by that. I thought your hand size, which is why I wasn't going to hold it against Jared Goff too much, Skip, because I'm like, what the hell is he supposed to do? If his hands are 9.6 inches, what's he supposed to do? He's going to enlarge his hands. But if you're saying there's a way to actually do it, that Jameis Winston tried, and that, you know, and he succeeded by adding an inch, then to me that is something that Jared Goff should have known. He should have paid attention to. And as a result, I agree with you. I am disappointed that he didn't do that, because when you're taking those hits, the smaller your hands are, the less of a grip you have on that football. And it is easy to dislodge the football from your hands. The bigger your hands are, particularly if they're big and soft, where the football, you know, it's like it just like it mushes it or something. Forgive me for not coming up with a better word.
No, I got it.
But if you're able to do that, then it's easier for you to hold on to the football. And in a strange way, Skip, it also has me thinking about Deflategate in this regard, because if you deflate that little bit of air from the football is easier to squeeze. If it's easier to squeeze, it's easier to hold on to, not just as a quarterback, but as a running back as well. And so you look at it from that perspective, and then it just elevates the importance of the hold hand issue even more so, because chances are you're not going to be able to deflate footballs, especially after Deflategate. And as a result, that makes hand size even that much more important. If anybody should know that, it should be a quarterback. I didn't realize it until you said so, but the way you broke it down in terms of Jameis Winston getting his treatment, I am really shocked that Jared Goff did not know that and didn't do whatever he could to make sure
you can just
that would be as minimal of an issue.
Stretch your ligaments in your hand. Just you
no
you
excuses.
They do it with
no
your
excuse.
legs in physical therapy. One shorter than the other. They elongate.
do that. So we had Goff at 6 feet 4 inches. We had Christian Hackenberg at 6 feet 4 inches, and they both had 9-inch hands, which is smallish for the height size. Last quick point before we leave this topic. I keep reading about, hearing talked about the top 3 quarterbacks. And Stephen A., I'm going to say this one more time. How is Cardale Jones not talked about among the top 3 quarterbacks? I just don't get it. It's just me.
Here's the problem. Here's the problem. I agree with you because talent-wise, both you and I felt similar about him. Going back to Ohio State and getting benched in favor of J.T. Barrett did not help.
No.
If he had not gotten benched and he had played throughout the season, I think he would be in a better situation. But that did not happen. But I will also say this. I have nothing but profound respect for the great Urban Meyer. Please don't get me wrong. But I wouldn't. The one thing that, to me, Cardale Jones has working for him is that Urban Meyer hasn't been known. He's been known to, to have quarterbacks and to win with them, but they haven't departed from him.
Yep.
And really came across as a finished product on the NFL level.
Yeah, that's true.
So I think people will look at that and say about Cardale Jones, okay, if we get him, we can teach him some things. And I think that helps in that regard.
6'5", 233.
I would take
pretty
him.
Big hands.
I'd take him.
Hey,
I would take him.
If you pop in the film from those 3 games he played in that 2014 run, you can tell me flash in the pan if you want. Wisconsin, Alabama, Oregon in the national championship game. He can move. He can run for first downs if he needs to. Huge arm, can make all the throws. He ought to be in this batch because I'm not sure. Carson Wentz from North Dakota State, is he really that guy? Is he that guy?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know about that. I will say this. I wouldn't, if I'm outside looking in and I'm a mediocre team and I need instant productivity from the quarterback position and I have a high draft pick, I can't take that chance on him because it's too risky. But if I'm a team in the playoffs, if I already have a quarterback,
I agree.
and I can buy myself a year or two, I would use a first